Own your worth. The journey to self-confidence. There are moments in life when we look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Not because we've changed, but because somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing our value. That was Maya's reality. Maya had always been the dependable one. The one who showed up early, worked late, never asked for help, and rarely said no. She gave her energy, her time, her heart until there was little left for herself. People admired her dedication. They called her strong. But what they didn't see was how much of her strength came from fear. The fear of not being liked. The fear of being seen as too much if she ever spoke her truth, or not enough if she didn't. She mistook being needed for being valued. She mistook being silent for being humble. She mistook pleasing everyone for owning her worth. Until one day, her body spoke the truth she had silenced for years. Burnout arrived not as a whisper but a crash. She couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. The mask of perfection slipped, and behind it was a woman tired of disappearing into the background of her own life. One afternoon, she stood alone in her apartment, staring at a sticky note she had written weeks before that said, "You are enough." It was faded. Almost like the words had lost their power. But this time, she didn't just read them. She said them out loud. And it felt strange. Almost rebellious. But deep down, it also felt like home. That was her beginning. Not a breakthrough moment filled with applause or epiphanies, but a small, defiant choice to start again. To not fix herself, but to find herself. She didn't dive into confidence. She stepped into it. One boundary at a time. One honest no, one brave yes. One deep breath before speaking her truth in a room that once intimidated her. And confidence didn't come like magic. It came like muscle, gained with practice. It came with tears, with unlearning, with the awkward discomfort of showing up fully. But the more she stood in her truth, the less she needed validation. Because confidence wasn't about proving her worth, it was about finally owning it. She started writing again, something she hadn't done since college. She went to dinner alone, not because no one invited her, but because she wanted to remind herself that her own company was enough. She stopped explaining herself to people who didn't respect her boundaries. She stopped asking permission to take up space. And slowly, the mirror changed. She saw not just what the world told her she was, but who she had always been: resilient, radiant, worthy without condition. Not because she earned it, but because she existed. Maya began sharing her story not for attention, but to help others remember their own. Her voice, once filtered by fear, now carried power. Not the loud kind, the grounded kind. The kind that said, "I know who I am, and I no longer need you to agree." Because that's what owning your worth is. It's not arrogance. It's not perfection. It's not a performance. It's the quiet revolution of choosing yourself every single day. So, if you're still waiting to feel good enough, stop waiting. Your worth isn't waiting to be proven, it's waiting to be claimed. You don't need to earn the right to be confident. You don't need to be flawless to be powerful. You don't need anyone's permission to take up space. You are the only one who can truly own your worth. And that is where your journey begins. Not when the world sees you, but when you finally see yourself. Own your worth. That's how you begin the journey to true self-confidence.